Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. In this video, I'll be making this corset dress with keyhole neckline and basque effect. So I already have my pattern. I've already gone ahead to draft out my basic bodies on it. I have my chest line, which is 8 inches, my bust point, which is 10 inches, my waist UBL, which is 13 inches, and my length, which is going to serve as my waistline, is 17 inches. My neck width is 3 by 3, 3 for the depth and 3 for the width. On the armhole area, I'm going to measure what I have and I'll mark the middle points. I'll go in by half an inch. And on my chest line, I'll take my bust circumference divided by 4 and I'll use my ruler to connect like this. So if you don't understand what I'm doing, I have a very detailed tutorial on how to draft your basic bodies, and if you're a regular on this channel, you should know how to do this by now. I'm going to drop the link of how to do this in the comment section. So on the part that I have left on my shoulder area, I'll mark what I have there and divide it by 2. So I measured it and what I had was 4 inches. I divided it by 2, which is 2 inches, and I connected from there to meet my dart on the bust point. So regardless of the dart that we have on the UBL, I'm going to go out by 1/4 inch on both ends. So I took 1/4 inch on this side and I took another 1/4 inch. I'm going to connect it to meet this other dart leg. That's the dart that we have there before. After doing that, the next thing I'll do is to curve from that dart to meet the my bust point, just like you see me doing using this ruler. So this is what I have. After doing that, I'll measure what I have on the dart on my UBL. What I have is 1.5 inches. So what I'll do is to give 1/2 inch to my center front and give 1 inch to the side front. So if you don't understand, just look at what I'm doing. So on my center front, I'm going to take 1/2 inch from the 1.5 inches that we had, and on the side front I'll take 1 inch and I'll use my ruler to connect from there to meet my bust point, just like you see me doing. So in order to avoid gaping on our bra cup, what I'll do is to take 1/4 inch away from the first dart that we just took. So I'll take 1/4 inch on this part and I'll take another 1/4 inch on the other part. 1/4 inch is half of 1/2 inch. I'll do that and then I'll connect also to meet the first dart that we took, like this. The next thing I'll do is to highlight the armhole area using my marker so that you guys will understand what I am doing. So I've gone ahead to do that. On this armhole area, this little part that you can see there, I'll measure what I have there, and what I have is 2 inches. I'll mark the middle point like this. So measure what you have there and divide it by 2. I'll use my ruler to connect from there to meet my UBL, just like this. If you don't understand, just look at what I am doing. So we've created one side of our cup, and to create the center of our cup, I'm going to go down from the chest line by 1/2 inch. It totally depends on you and how opened you want your chest area to be. So I'll use my ruler to connect from that 1/2 inch to meet my UBL, and this is the other part of the cup. So I'll also use my ruler to connect from that 1/2 inch to meet the new dart that we have. So if you want your neckline to be like this, you can leave it. On this part also, I'll use my ruler to connect from that end to meet the armhole area, so you can see. So if you don't understand, just look at what I'm doing. I'm going to cover out my armhole to meet up with this, just like this. I'll blend everything in like this. So I'll go ahead and cut out the neckline. Remember what I took out was 3 by 3, so 3 for the width and 3 for the depth. What I'll do is to take my neckline, the real neckline now. I'm going to come down by 5, 6. It depends on you, but I'll go down by 5 inches. Depends on how revealing you want your chest line to be. And from that point, I'm going to connect to meet this dart line like this. So this is the line we are going to use, not the other one anymore. So this is what I have. But if you don't want this, you can leave the first one that we did. Is totally okay. On the shoulder line, I'm going to reduce the shoulder by 1 inch so that the shoulder will not be too close to the neckline. I don't know if you understand. And then I'm going to blend it into the neckline with my ruler like this. After doing that, I'll go ahead and trim it out. So I'll go ahead and label my pattern so that I'll not get confused. So this arrow is to let me know that this is where I'm supposed to sew. I have 1, which is the center front. I have 2, which is the side front. I also have my yoke. So go ahead and label notch if you have to, so you don't join 2 different cups together. After doing that, the next thing I will do is to figure out how opened I want my keyhole neckline to be. So for me, I'll just go down by 2 inches from the neckline, and I'll use my ruler to curve from that neckline to meet this second dart leg. So just look at what I'm doing carefully. This is not a straight line, this is a curve, and it's from that 2 inches to meet the other dart line that we have on the cup. After doing that, what I'll do is to start placing my measurement. I already have my bust measurement divided by 4. I'll go ahead and add 2 inches. Please don't forget to replace your darts. I forgot to do that, but thankfully the fabric I used is a stretchy fabric. So measure your darts and replace it, then add your stitching allowance. So after doing that, I did the same thing for the waistline. I'll go ahead and connect my dots, and then I'll use my marker to just highlight where I am going to cut. This is from the waistline, just like this. After doing that, I'll blend my armhole area and I'll highlight my shoulder area also, and then I'll go ahead and cut. So look at me carefully, look at where I am cutting so you don't mess up your pattern paper. So these are all my pattern papers for the front. For the side front and the center front, I'm going to close my darts. That way I'll not take in any darts. I'm just going to cut this out on one fabric because I've already taken in my darts. I'll place the both pattern together and I'll use my masking tape to hold them down. By now, I'm sure you guys are wondering where the Basque effect is. So that's what we are going to create now. So I brought in another pattern paper and I just placed the center front and the side front that I just joined together. I placed them on it. So I'm going to go down by 4.5 inches. That is the maximum you can go down with. So I'll just go down by 4.5 inches like this, and I'm going to slant from there to meet the waist on the other end. So if you go down more than 4.5 inches, it's not going to be easy for you to stitch this down. So after doing that, I'm just going to cut. So we are done with the pattern drafting for the front. So my back pattern paper is ready, and I did the same thing that I did for the front pattern paper. The only difference is this one has a zipper allowance of 1.5 inches, and the armhole I just connected from the middle to meet my bust measurement on the chest line. So I have my chest line, my bust line, my UBL, and my waistline. So I brought in my yoke, and I'm going to measure the same thing that I have on the shoulder, because the shoulder is supposed to match. I measured it, which is 4 inches, and from there I came down by 9 inches. So this is a deep neckline. This is my neckline. I want it to be very deep, so I'll go down by 10 inches. I just slanted from my shoulder to meet the my bust point. So on my chest line, I already have my bust measurement divided by 2, so I just went ahead to by 4, sorry. So I just went ahead to add my stitching allowance. And on my waistline also, I'll take my waist measurement divided by 4, I'll replace my dart, and then I'll add my stitching allowance. I'll go ahead and connect the points together. You can see that the back is very easy, and what I'll do is to just blend my armhole area. So I'll go ahead and highlight my waistline, and also highlight my yoke. And on the zipper area, I'm going to go in on the waistline by 1 inch, and I'll slant to meet the bust line. This is to avoid any bulginess on the zip area when I'm sewing. And for the yoke, since this is a deep neckline, my neckline stopped at my bust point, so my yoke is going to be on the bust point. I just highlighted that. I'll go ahead and label what I have, and we are done with drafting the back. What I'll do next is to cut this out. So look at me carefully and see where I'm cutting. After cutting, I'm going to do the same thing that I did for the front. I'm going to slash my dart area open on one end, and I'll close it up. I'll use my masking tape to hold it down, so I won't have to take in my dart. And I'm just going to cut this out on one fabric. Okay, no, I'm not going to cut out two fabric. So we are done cutting. Guys, stay tuned for the sewing version of this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, encourage me, subscribe if you have not. I'll see you guys in the next one.